going on out there? You're now listening to the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon. My name is Kevin Martin. By my side, always,
is Brian Morelli. What's going on? You are tuning in right now to an excellent, legendary episode of the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon. First off, the Trev Star has returned. What's going on, man?
Cheer. Well, what's going on, really, is I didn't realize that apparently Kevin, since I've left, smokes 20 packs a day. Sound like an old Jewish grandma from Queens.
It's my metal voice.
Oh, that's your metal voice. Okay. But hi, I'm back.
Excellent. And we'd like to introduce two very special guests, returning guests, Mr. Johnny B. Morbid and Mr. Michael Graves. How are you guys?
Oh.
I'm talking. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh.
You're totally on the air.
Oh, my goodness.
Hi.
Well, Michael Graves making all sorts of weird sounds into the microphone.
Yeah, it worked out fine. I would say so.
Maybe I should do my voice, too, like this.
The whole time.
That's it. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Thanks.
I don't have a voice.
Do a voice.
You don't need a voice. You're the Trev Star.
Belly. Oh, belly. Sorry, that's all I got.
That was great, dude.
Thank you.
All right, so who else we got in there? Come on. Introduce yourselves.
We got Doug Evil.
Hi, Doug.
Got the Milkman.
What's up, Milkman?
JBM, you going to talk at all?
No.
Okay.
Now we can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was a really good start by me, right? I'm doing good over here.
All right, we're starting out slow, but it's okay.
It's fine.
It's all good.
Nah, it's all good.
Well, we want to thank you guys very much for coming back to Monmouth University, WMCX. Excellent to have you guys. As always, had a great time here.
I hope you had a good time here last time.
We had a great time.
But since you left, I believe you left us, and then like 2 weeks you went on like South American tour.
I saw the most beautiful pictures on Facebook from you, Michael, because I think we're friends on Facebook. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, so
it's funny because I have a friend request sent out to him. He still hasn't answered. I sent him a friend request like right after the show last time we did it. Nothing.
So
well, I'll talk to you about that after the show.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
No, but one of the reasons that I don't add a lot of the friends is because on the one page you only get like 5,000 friends.
Oh yeah, you have like multiple pages.
Yeah, there's that page, and then there's the fan page, which I guess you can have as many as you need. So
you're a popular guy is what you're trying to say.
You got to be selective with those 5,000. Those are very important 5,000 people.
Mostly the females get the friendship. Know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
That's right.
So give us a little bit of an update. What you've been doing since the last time you were here?
Well, after we left here, we went out on the Radio Deadly tour. I toured to promote the radio show that I have, radiodeadly.net. If anybody's interested, blogtalkradio.com/Radio Deadly. I went out on an acoustic tour to promote that and to play some acoustic songs. And then Marky Ramone and I have a band called Blitzkrieg, and we started our world tour, we were calling it, like mid-May. I think we went out like May 12th or May 13th or something like that, and started in South America. Went to Brazil. We did like a 2-3 week run in South America. Came home for a couple of days and then went over to Europe. Went all through Italy, France, Germany. We played in London, and pretty much spent the summer in Europe.
Not a bad place to spend the summer.
That's great, I know.
Holland is beautiful this time of year.
We stopped in Holland, which was absolutely fantastic. Not only because it was a great show, but marijuana is legal in Holland, so it was pretty cool. Got over to Eastern Europe, played in like Serbia, did Croatia. Wow. A lot of traveling. I spent some time in Russia. Was down in Indonesia.
Jeez.
So yeah.
I like competition. So where is the best crowd and where is the absolute worst crowd? What country?
The best crowds, we played in front of 75,000 people in Belgrade, Serbia. There was a big beer fest. But really the best crowds that just throw off the most insane energy are definitely in South America and in those countries. why is certainly up for debate, and everybody has their own opinions. But it's just something about those crowds and the passion that they have, especially for Ramone's music and the music that I make. It was really great. The
That's
worst crowds were France.
I knew it.
Oh, nice.
Could have called it.
Yeah, I mean, you go to France and just the stereotypical French person, it's just.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the movie Euro Trip right now. I'm thinking about like the robot on the side of the road, just like the French robot. That's what, if you haven't seen the movie, just YouTube that part. It's hilarious.
So were they just?
That's what it was like. They just sort of stand there and
like think they're better than you.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the vibe that you get. Obviously, not every French person is guilty of that charge, but certainly it's a very, very different vibe in France.
Right.
So you heard it here first. If you're planning on going to France, Michael Graves says, nah,
Nah.
that's not it.
Go to Brazil. Check
It's
it
a
out.
beautiful country. There's tons of stuff to see. I'm a huge, history buff. I love World War II. So, we were out in Cannes, and we were in, Toulouse, and we played not too far from Normandy Beach, and so it was really, really exciting. But again, like I said, the people in France are they're different.
So the moral of the story is don't play a show in France.
Well, you can
You
play
go
a
to
show in
France,
France, but if you expect them to be bouncing off the rafters, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I'm sorry, Kevin and I were watching a video on YouTube, and it's Marky Ramone's Blitzkrieg, and you guys were in Japan. It was back in 2009.
Yeah.
It was a punk festival with Less Than Jake.
Yeah.
Who else was on the bill? I'm sorry, the name of the actual festival escapes me,
I think
but
it's Punk Spring.
Punk
Yeah,
Spring,
that was
that's what
it,
it
yeah.
was.
Right.
Punk Spring 09. And the crowd looked,
That looked intense.
oh my God, it
Yeah.
looked very intense.
Like a
Yeah.
constant jumping wave of people.
Yeah, it was quite insane. That place was as big as Madison Square Garden. I think there was 20,000 people there. Japan, the crowds there, again, the passion that they have for music is palpable. Again, amazing. What's interesting about Japan, though, is in between the songs, you start playing and everybody just freaks out. And then in between the songs, it's very quiet, but it's very mellow. And again, it's just their
what a great song. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just their culture. It's a respect thing. It's just the way that those people are.
That's cool.
So you've obviously been touring the world, like you went in the 90s, I believe, too, all the way up till now. You've been going across the world.
I started in 1995. It's almost 15 years.
So is there a big difference from like you would say like the scene anywhere and from 95 to now, or is it kind of like
of course, huge differences. Yeah,
it's just for the better or for the worse?
Well, both. It really depends on what you talk about. I mean, the scene is obviously very, very, very different. When we first started with the Misfits in '95, there was still, it was, there was that resurgence of punk that was coming back.
Yeah.
The Sex Pistols were getting back together. It was, towards the end of the grunge movement, and grunge really kick-started the whole punk rock thing.
Back in action a little bit.
Right. So, it was just very, very different. There was still
Like one of my points that I wanted to make and point out is just high school. I went to a show like every week, and no matter whether it was local or big, but like now, just with artists with ticket prices going up so high and everything, like almost being insane. Like I want to go see Judas Priest, their supposedly last tour, but to go sit all the way in the back, all the way at the top, it's already like $100.
yes.
And normally I'd be that guy, diehard fan, but you can't go every week now. You have to like pick and choose which artist you want to see and save up, and like I think that it has like a huge effect. And I didn't know if you also saw that happening. Like
again, in the 90s, in 1995 and 1996, it was, a very, very different world. The world economy was very, very different. American economy was very, very different. And this is 2011, and obviously things are quite different. And yeah, I mean, ticket prices are through the roof. Everything's through the roof. Again, in 1995, when I started touring, there was no cell phones. There was still people jumping off the stage unabated. There was, really no barriers in between the bands, and it was very, very, very different. And yeah, of course, the price of everything has skyrocketed and gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I consider myself like a dedicated fan, and I just can't go. It's just like too many things stop me.
Do you think that really barred a lot of people from going out and supporting like Marky Ramone's Blitzkrieg or you when you play out or just it?
Because there's no CD selling anymore, So you mostly make your money off touring, I'm guessing.
I think that what you see in the music industry again is much like we were talking about Indonesia before, where there's the poor people and then there's the very rich people and there's no middle, and you see that a lot in the music industry as well. It's like you said, like the bands that you want to go see, the Judas Priest, Rolling Stones, the higher level bands are so expensive, and then there's no real sort of middle anymore. And it's either that or you're just going to go to a club, and as well, people just don't have the money to just go out and spend on tickets anymore. So it's difficult with Blitzkrieg and with my shows. When I go out with a full band or I go out acoustic, I make it a point to make sure that my ticket prices are affordable and they're not expensive. And we do the same with Blitzkrieg. We keep our ticket prices as low as we possibly can, because we know the state of things, especially over in Europe. I mean, you think things are bad here in America. Again, if we want to talk, economics, economy with people's money, it's much worse in Europe than it is here. And it's tough.
I think we have someone calling in. Actually, one of our special guests are coming on
on
shortly. I believe that's what Brian's doing.
Right now.
We're going to do that?
Yes.
All right. The whole reason why we're here is to promote tomorrow night. You and Marky are playing.
Yes, Marky Ramone and I are playing tomorrow with our band Blitzkrieg at Gramercy Theater in New York City.
All right, so let's say hi to him. Hang on, let's see if this works. Okay, ready?
Yay!
Ready, everybody?
Yay! College ingenuity. Here it goes.
Hi.
Hey, Marky, you there?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Hi. Hello, Michael. How you doing?
Hey, Marky, I'm good.
Good.
Well, sir, let me say welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And
It's good to
WMCX
be on.
88.9. Very happy to have you on the air.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot for calling in. We were hoping we get an appearance, but hey, take the time to call in. It was good
so
for us.
crazy today. And,
Hang
no, I
out
hear
for a
you.
little while, just
to
talk.
prepare for the show for tomorrow and everything. Getting rentals from the different places just to make sure everything's going to be nice and smooth. And there's other factors because we just got back from doing a few shows, so that was one of the reasons. Anyway, what's doing?
Hey, not too much. We really appreciate you calling in. Now, I just wanted to ask you, first off, how do you think all the touring is going so far? How do you think the support is for Blitzkrieg?
Well, we just did so many shows this spring and summer. We played in front of at least 200,000 people. So now we did Chicago, which was great. We did Ohio, which was really good. And tomorrow we'll be in New York City, so we'll see. And we're going to do a 30 Ramone song set and some surprises. And Michael's going to do some songs that he wrote when he was the singer, songwriter, and frontman for the Misfits. And we're going to do our latest single. So it's going to be really, I guess you could call it a cool event.
Oh, that's great. And we got the latest single on us on CD. Thank you, Michael, for bringing that in.
No worries.
So we're going to play that a little bit later. But, Marky, what are your expectations for tomorrow night? I mean, New York City, this is pretty big.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of Ramones fans here, and the songs are too good not to be played. And I get a lot of email and the requests on my show on if I can mention it, Sirius XM.
It's fine.
Excellent.
To play Ramones stuff. So it never ends, I mean, the Ramones legacy keeps going on and on and on, and I'm the only one out there doing it really on a really professional level. So, we'll see. I just hoping that everything will be nice and smooth and everyone come out have a good time.
I got a question about the crowds. I mean, are you surprised, or were you expecting all the young people that are coming out?
No, well, there's a whole new younger generation, which I'm really grateful and amazed at. Who knew? I mean, it's probably the lyrical content, the energy of the group, and it just, a whole new generation. And I guess it bridges the generation gap to the older fans that are still there and waving the flag high, and the younger fans. And it's just good to see the mix.
That's awesome. That's great. Now, really quick, I just wanted to further go along with the generation gap. I mean, the Ramones extremely influential upon punk music. Misfits just as influential. And I saw.
No, they're not.
I agree.
You can't. Come on.
Marky.
You can't put the Misfits in the same sentence as the Ramones. I mean, the Ramones influenced a whole genre of music, and the Misfits really just kind of copied the rhythm and put makeup on their face. You know what I mean?
I understand that.
It's.
I actually prefer Michael with makeup.
Oh, okay. I mean, hey, each to his own.
But Marky,
the Ramones were and are in their own category. They really did start a genre, and I mean, it's just wonderful to see how many bands were influenced by them. You could say that Green Day, Rancid, and bands like the early Misfits and people like that were influenced by the Ramones, and even the English scene like the Pistols and the Clash.
Right.
So we were very grateful to see that.
That's great.
Now, just to switch gears off the whole Ramones thing, you yourself have been in the music industry for an unbelievable amount of time and are still going strong today.
Yeah, thank you.
What keeps you going through all these years?
Well, I did 5 albums before I joined the Ramones, and it was always in my blood. It still is. I still enjoy it. Once it's in you, I guess it doesn't leave. The only way it will come to an end is when your body tells you and says physically you can't do it anymore. Let it go and just enjoy what you did and the legacy you left. You know what I mean?
So you just keep going until you can't do it anymore, right?
And just as long as it's fun, and that to me that's really at this point, I have nothing to prove. Just I enjoy playing, so that's really important to me.
Does it feel at all like a job to you? Like, do you wake up and
never
like,
did,
Still,
and I did have jobs here and there, and I used to mix cement, I used to put up wrought iron gates. I did a lot of different things, and then in between bands that I was in. But being in the Ramones was a whole different story. I stayed with the band for 15 years.
Yeah.
So you enjoy the fruits of your labor. You know what I mean, as you get older.
Yeah.
No, definitely, and as fans, we appreciate the music. We love it. I don't know how you feel about Edge of the Century. It's one of my favorite Ramones albums ever.
Well, that's a good question. I appreciate it more now than when it came out because I understand it better and what it took and what ingredient is involved in that album due to Phil Spector's production.
Yes. Hey.
He had a call waiting. He was just like, oh, someone else more important is calling right now. We're going to switch over to that.
He'll be back. He'll be back in a little bit.
He'll be back. But actually, one of my next questions for him, and I wanted to get Michael involved a little bit, is like, how did the relationship start between the two of you for getting Blitzkrieg going? Was it something that he was setting up and he gave you a call, or what's?
Mark and I worked together when he was playing with his band called The Intruders, and we toured together with the Misfits, and that's where we first met.
Okay.
And then, I didn't really know about Blitzkrieg, and I got a call one day while I was out on acoustic tour from our manager, and he said, Marky Ramone has this project. He wants you to come and sing, and at first I thought it was a joke, and I hung up on him.
That's either how like the good things in life are you just hang up and you miss a good opportunity, or sometimes it's just a really bad joke like that. It's just you miss out something horrible. But then eventually, I'm guessing you called back, or he called you back.
Then I eventually spoke to him, And he told me what he wanted to do and play the Ramone songs and carry on the legacy. And I told him it would be an honor, and it would be a dream come true for me, and I would take it seriously and work as hard as I could to be successful with him. And so we started this endeavor. I guess it's going on almost 3 years, but about 2.5 years.
Do you like playing
incredible.
Ramone songs? Is it weird playing songs that like you didn't write or anything and still trying to? Do you do it like the Ramones, or do you put your own personal spin on it all?
In my head, sometimes I think that I'm singing like Joey, but then I listen back and it's not happening. But when I was in the Misfits, I had the opportunity to work with Joey a couple of times, and obviously when I was young, I was a skate rat, so I loved the Ramones songs. And I remember getting an advance copy of the live album that they recorded in New York City. One of their last shows. And I remember driving in my car and saying to myself, man, if there's anybody in the world that would be second to Joey to sing these songs, it would be me. Saying this in my head, because one of the keys to the Ramones and one of the magical things about Dee Dee and Joey was their ability to interpret melody and and to write melody, and Joey's ability to take the melodies and change it, and make it interesting and make the live shows exciting and do different things with his voice and his rhythmic sense.
Right.
Is just very much like mine, and very much something that I strive towards. So, again, all the ingredients were there, and it was just a perfect opportunity for me. I love doing the songs, even though I didn't write them, obviously. But there is such a legacy there that very much like an actor would approach a role or a part where there's so much emotion, there's so much backstory that are in these songs, and just getting to know Marky and him and I talking, intimately about things, about his brothers, about his life, about the band, and about the genesis of these songs. Then they become real to me, and they literally come alive, and I take all that energy and my life and my experiences, and project that out when I sing and when I perform, and those are all the ingredients of why when you come and you see us, you just get that overwhelming sense of energy, because it's very much real. It's just not us, going through singing the songs. It's real. It's very real to me. Yeah, and obviously very real to Marky.
Definitely. Let me just ask you this: scale of 1 to 10, when you guys play with the energy, and you guys are playing 30+ Ramone songs. At whatever Marky decides the tempo, which is relatively fast. I'm just saying that scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most. How exhausting is it per night?
A 10.
Oh, excellent. That's great.
It doesn't seem like the kind of guy who holds back. I'm just gonna say.
One of the things that I am drawn to, and one of the things that I love about performing and creating with Marky, is that he is incredibly passionate about the music, and every night he still plays with the same intensity and again the passion that he did when he was 18 years old. And for me, being still a relatively young man, standing in front of him, I'm just blown away by how much he puts into it, and I feed off of that, just the same way that I used to feed off of Doyle and Chud and the energy that they would put into things. Right. And it's just the same way that on a football team, running backs and everybody feeds off of each other. But for me, it's an incredibly physical show. I mean, if you come and check us out at Gramercy tomorrow, you'll see where there's really very little time in the set that I'm standing still. I'm jumping, I'm spinning around, I'm doing all sorts of stuff, and I perform that way. I have always strived to perform that way, to put myself above and to try to be as dynamic and exciting a performer as I possibly can be, and to raise that bar and try to do something different on stage, much like Iggy Pop did.
Definitely.
You know, much like I always compare it to like Tony Hawk back in the 80s, where you see him just doing these crazy things on the skateboard. I want people to come and see me and say, wow, I've never seen anybody perform like that before, like he did, and still be able to sing and project a vocal quality that is above and beyond.
I mean, you play sometimes. It seems like you play a 4-hour set in 2 hours, the pace that you play these songs in. But I don't think anyone in any way would take that as you trying to rush through. I just see you having a blast out there, and that's I think the most important thing that I could possibly see.
We're talking with Michael Graves, with Marky Ramone now playing in a band called Blitzkrieg. They got a show tomorrow night, Thursday. I don't even know what tomorrow's date is.
13th, October 13th.
October 13th.
Gramercy Theater, New York City. Doors open at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So that means if you don't have tickets, that means get them now, because they're going. And I looked them up. They're awesomely reasonably priced. If you got nothing to do on a Thursday, because what are you going to do? Go to work tomorrow? Make sure you check those guys out. So I see you brought your guitar with you.
Yeah.
Mostly because we asked you.
Yeah.
And
I actually carry it around everywhere I go.
I figured.
Awesome.
So I was wondering maybe you can play a song for us right now.
Sure.
Awesome.
Whatever you'd like, I'm guessing. Does anyone have any?
Hey, whatever. Up to you. You're the guest. You're the guest here. You.
All right. Well, I'll play a song called Locked Away. And I want to play this song because I met someone who I've never met before, yet on Monday I met a man whose name is Damien Eccles, who had been locked away for 18 years of his life, and he was on death row for all of those 18 years. And he and I collaborated and wrote some music together, and became friends throughout this process. So I want to play this song because it's a good song, and because it's relative to recent events.
All right. Listening to WMCX 88.9 FM, the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon with Michael Graves.
Maybe the rain will stop today. Heaven shouldn't really seem this far away. There might be reasons you've gone away. All have our reasons. We all have something locked away, hidden from the light. There must be something left inside alive. When are you coming home? Yeah. Locked away, hidden from the left inside alive. When are you coming home? When are you coming home? When are you coming home?
Hell yeah. Very nice.
Awesome.
Thank you.
If you are just tuning in, you are listening to the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon. Michael Graves is here playing acoustic. Johnny Morbid's here also. Hello, Johnny.
Hi, how are you?
All right, good. We'll get to you in a second. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to WSOU.
That's not fun to make fun of people we don't like.
It's okay because we're better. But you guys were just in Chicago like 2 days ago.
Yes.
How was the pizza? I'm sorry, I'm sure that was a real question.
Yeah, we got pizza, right?
Yeah,
Great
the
time.
deep dish was good. It was the first time I'd actually been in that area, and it was a pleasure to have it.
Did you have a piece of the pepperoni?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I was going to ask you if it like repeated on you. Because it
didn't-
repeated on me. You know, you burp and it burns.
It was good though.
It's not good when you can
my
still-
experience was
When you
was
can
pretty
taste
good.
it again, it's like, oh, I did have pepperoni. Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
It was cool. It was a cool city. It was awesome to be in the home of Wesley Willis, which was nice.
I'm just thinking ER. Remember the show ER?
Yes, I remember.
Thank you. Just remember that guy Noah Wilde and George Clooney. That's it. Yeah.
The
oh
guy
yeah.
the guy that played Goose in Top Gun.
Oh yeah, he was in it too.
I don't
God,
know
that
what
was
his name
on
is.
forever. Mackay
Yeah.
Pfeiffer. Mackay Pfeiffer.
Now, Johnny,
I did the Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
Oh God, there's so many jokes about Chicago. Anyway.
The Bears. Bulls.
So you worked road crew for that. How was that, Johnny?
It's been good. It's been a blast. Everybody's really considerate, really nice, laid back. No problems at all thus far. I mean, knock on wood, everything's going pretty smoothly, I'd have to say. You know, and I was very happy and I feel privileged to get the call to help out with this.
Wow.
You know, it's pretty wild for me, you know. I was 14, 15 years old listening to the Ramones and the Misfits.
Anything is what she is. Anywhere is where she's from. Anytime is where she'll be. Anything as long as it's mine and the door it opens is the way back in, or is it the way back out? So I walk on, singing, anything is where she'll be. Any place she'll see you from. Lies and secrets become your world. Anytime, anywhere, she takes me away. And death climbs up the steps one by one to give you the rose that's been burned by her son. Point me to the sky above. I have heard her death place. I fall down on my knees in praise of the horrible things that took her away. And death climbs up the steps one by one to give you the rose that's been burned by her sun. Point me to the sky above. I can get there on my own. Walk me through the graveyard, dig up her bones. Point me to the sky above. I can get there on my own. Walk me to the graveyard, dig up her bones. Dig up her bones. Point me to the sky above. I can get there all by myself on my own. Walk me through that graveyard. I'll dig up her bones, all her secrets that she owns. My bones, her bones. Walk on.
I love that one. That's awesome.
Always a favorite.
Yeah, buddy.
Micah Graves on WMCX. You're listening to the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon. One of the all-time favorites. That song. Good choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for writing it. No.
Yeah, and again, a song that was born out of, I wrote it when I was in high school, after a girl broke my heart, and that song, the lyrics are essentially exactly the same as I wrote it, except for instead of dig up her bones, it was I'm coming home, and then. I added the last verse in it. I've seen the demon's face, and I've heard of her death place. When I was in the Misfits, again in a song that has that horror tinge to it, but it's just a song about a very young person with lots of dreams that feels very alone. I'm saying I can get any place by myself. I don't need anybody. And in the song that you're going to play, called If and When, with our new single,
Yes.
Again, a song like Dig Up Her Bones, which was one of the very first, it was the song that I wrote when I was very young, and in it the lyric, I can get there on my own. And If and When, if you listen, all those years later, after my first child was born, in that song the lyric is, you can't get there on your own. And so again, it shows that that juvenile side of things where, I feel like I can do anything by myself, and
So you're saying this has marked a maturity within the
well,
single?
sure, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so too. So what do you say? You want to get to that right now? You want to give them a new single?
Yeah, sure.
We got a little backstory behind it, or
There is. About 3/4 of the way through my wife's pregnancy, we were told that my daughter's heart had a defect in it, and it was by God's hand actually that we discovered it. And so, when my daughter was born, literally she was shown to us, and then she was whisked off, and she had surgery on her heart, which saved her life. For an individual to, for me to have to ponder all of those things and look at my daughter with all these tubes coming out of her, and, for my wife and I to just go through that, it was something that really set the reset button in my life and illuminated a lot of things that that I really never noticed before, and it was quite amazing. And when we finally brought her home, after she had recovered in the ICU to the best of her her ability, and we brought her home, and we put her in this little what we call the boppy seat. I would sit there and I would just I would strum the guitar and just sing to her as she healed, and this is a song that I wrote as I sat there with her, and and one of the refrains is "I love you, I love you," and I would just sit there and I would play that for her, and from those times sitting there strumming my guitar, this song called "If and When" was born.
Awesome. So you're listening to the X88.9. Michael Graves and Marky Ramone will be at the Gramercy Theater?
Gramercy Theater tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, and this is the single right now. X88.9.
Actually, there's a bunch of songs on what I gave you. I think
clearly we got the wrong one.
Yeah, if and when I think
there should have been a number, maybe just like kind of post-it note or something.
I'm sorry. It's all the way down to the bottom. It's the last song I believe that's on that.
You can't hand a man a blank
track.
CD and be like,
well,
play this.
My homework was to bring a CD that had a couple of Ramones tunes and the Blitzkrieg new single.
So this is Johnny B. Morbid's fault.
No, I think the song that we just heard, that has potential. That really has potential.
That's just an idea I had,
Throw that one out there.
I think I got it now.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
If and when.
If and when.
X88.9.
The day after all this is over, I'll miss you when I go. I hate to think that you are surrounded
it's a single.
That is good. It's good hearing that song also after hearing the backstory, because it's a completely different experience after you know why the song was written the way it was and the lyrics are what they were and everything. It's real cool.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
So we got another song coming up on this wonderful, amazing CD that you totally burned off your computer. What do you got?
Yeah, the next song is called When We Were Angels. This song I originally wrote and recorded on the album called Illusions that Damien Eccles and I, there's a songs that Damien and I wrote together. And it was just, on Illusions, it's just a piano song. But it's a really sad song. And one of the images that I get, and one of the images that I got when I was writing this song was when, as well as the things that were happening in my life. When guys go away to train for the military, boot camp, every Sunday you're allowed to go to church if you choose. You go to Protestant church, go to Catholic church, whatever. And for that hour, when those guys are in that church, there's just something really magical that happens, because it's really the only time that the guys are allowed to really just sort of let loose, and you know, and it's just something very magical. And when I was writing this song, again I think back to this Marine sniper that I used to know and talk to. He was a really young guy. And he had gotten back from Iraq and all the other things that he had done. And once he became a civilian and got away from all the military stuff, he had a really, really hard time with the things that were in his mind and the things that he had done, that he had to do. And again, it was another amazing point in my life, because he really used my music and in talking with him and working with him, we used music to heal him and to find this spiritual strength within him to forgive himself and to just to get beyond all of the tough things that he had gone through. And it's just a song that I wrote that I really wanted to articulate the warrior spirit. Obviously, not only that those guys have, but for all the people that were around me at the time that were working so hard for people like Damien who were on death row, and just really standing up for the good things in the world and the good things in life, and sacrificing sometimes more than any of us ever could imagine sacrificing for something that some perceive to be bigger than themselves. So the original version of the song that I wrote is a very sad, just piano, just almost like a church song. And then when Marky and I got together and we were just discussing about what our first single should be, this one came up and we recorded it. And again, just so honored to be able to be able to have this song and play it with Marky. And so
awesome.
When We Were Angels.
I'm sorry, I wrote a
Marky Ramone's Blitzkrieg with, of course, Michael Graves. Song is When We Were Angels.
See, what I almost said viewers, but listeners, viewing the radio is hard. The listeners don't see is that like we're all back here, we're listening, but we're also like making sure all the levels are good. And Brian's just like, yeah, 30 seconds. I'm like, he wrote the song. I'm pretty sure he knows how much time's left. Like,
I appreciate the heads up. we as well were chatting in here and just monitoring the song, but at a low volume.
But you always, no matter where you go, and I would say only because the last 2 times you're here, you always gather a crowd in our studio. So right. Either if it's people popping in and out or walking by on our stupid bridge. I don't know why they gave us a bridge. But we got some fan questions for you.
Sure. And listen, again, like, to me, it's an incredible gift. I'll go so far as to say it's a blessing in my life that happens, and I recognize that, and I take that seriously, and so when I talk and when I write and when I say things, you know, like when I talk about the last 2 songs, it's important for me to try to be a person of substance and just not dismiss that, because I especially with young people like yourselves, or at least younger than me, who are in college and just starting with their lives, and we're all going through this together, and the world is an incredibly complex, complicated place, and I know my place in it, and I know that, again, I'm speaking into this microphone, and I have this platform, and why not, for that very, very, very short time that I have the opportunity to do my best to inspire and motivate and spread the word.
Before we go
Michael
on to
Graves.
Oh my God.
Before we go into our questions here, Brad and I were talking during that last song, just saying that whether you go on to write something more with Blitzkrieg, if you can continue with that, or whatever you write on your own, I mean, we always know it comes from the heart, so we know it's great stuff, whatever it is.
Thank you.
And without further ado, the kid who almost wet his pants the last time you were here.
Yeah.
Goldie.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
What's happening, bro?
It's funny is this whole week, to get into the mood for Halloween, I've been on a huge Misfit kick, and
Cool.
Every morning I've woken up listening to either From Hell They Came or Punk Rock Is Dead from your solo stuff. And it's just like, when Brian told me you were going to be here, I was just like, oh, should I skip class? Like, what do I do?
We here at WMCX do not endorse skip.
No, I mean, I went.
Yes.
Thankfully,
Yes.
got let out early, so what I did was I came running here. And during class, I was trying to think of a question to ask you. And so I guess my question is, what was your favorite moment out of your years being with the Misfits?
Wow. My favorite moment was there were a lot of favorite moments.
I guess more memorable then, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase that question.
No, I get it. When I'm asked that question, I've been asked that question before. One of the moments that pops into my mind is when we were working on Fiend Without a Face. And it was after American Psycho, after Famous Monsters. When we were recording that song, and we were in the studio, and I had just written it on an acoustic guitar, and so articulating that song to the guys, they didn't quite get exactly what I was driving at, in the recording process and being in the studio, there was a moment where all of a sudden we all got it, and the whole band just clicked, and there was a moment we all just looked at each other, and we had at that point reached a completely different level than we had ever been at before, more so than anything on American Psycho, more so than anything on Famous Monsters, and it was a very, very tumultuous time in the band as well. Very, very much so. We stepped outside, and everybody, could have easily fought each other to the death. But at that moment, where all of a sudden everything just happened, and we were playing it so perfectly, it was a really, really great moment for me. I don't know about the other guys, but there was magic in that moment. And whenever I'm asked that question, my mind immediately goes there, and I can see it very, very lucidly in my mind.
Thank you. Pass it on now.
Some more guest questions over here.
Hey, Greg. Hey.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hi, Greg.
What's up, Greg?
How you doing? I was just wondering, you've probably addressed this probably a bunch of times, but I was wondering if you could, like, without any restraints or without having to hold yourself back, how do you feel about Jerry Only?
Didn't we just go over this?
You know, when I first started in the band, Jerry was very much a father figure in a lot of ways to me, and really took me under his wing and motivated me and it really pushed me to be as good as I possibly could be. And I felt very safe, and I felt very comfortable, and I felt very much able to be all of the things that I believe that I could be. Unfortunately, as things progressed and time went on, it worked out the way that it did. I have there's a very sour, sad, bitter place in my heart that Jerry Only lives in my soul. I unfortunately feel that way, but he's the type of person that I can never imagine being. He's the type of person that unfortunately, whenever now as an older man, I whenever I see characteristics of a Jerry Only in somebody in front of me that I'm doing business with or in a capacity like that, I run for the hills. Again, like I said, it's very unfortunate because here is somebody who was and still says they're this leader and this person that brings people together, yet he has caused so much division and so much heartache and has really done a lot of damage to a lot of good people's lives, and the fans don't see that, and but it's true. I mean, in the Misfits wake is a long line of people that have been crushed and pushed aside and lied to, and has just been driven over for Jerry's goals and for what Jerry wanted to achieve, regardless of anybody else's life, and it's unfortunate and it's sad that we're not talking about good things and there's not more positive things to talk about within the Misfits. And then people say, "Oh, you're just bitter. You're just mad about." And of course I am. Of course I am. I never wanted to leave that band. I didn't. Those guys were my best friends. They were everything in my life and in my world. And when it came apart, it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating to me physically and mentally. And it took a long while to be able to stand completely straight and to get my head right. And Jerry did that, and Jerry did that to all of us.
Do you still try to hold on to all the original good memories that you have with
course,
Jerry?
Of course. I don't no longer do I stew in the negativity, and there were many years that it was a poison in my life. And
if I may say, it seems like this Jerry guy, if I may call him that, this Jerry guy is a.
This is an outsider looking in.
Yeah.
This Jerry guy seems to be like a very toxic person in yours
Absolutely.
and a lot of other people's lives.
Absolutely.
Leaving like this path of destruction and broken hearts and dreams.
Very much so. Very much so.
Right. And I would compare him to, it seems probably like a cancer, and I'm pretty glad that you kind of cut him out of your life because
that's a great analogy. It's a great analogy. Yeah, and like I said, for a very long while, that cancer was spreading completely throughout my body, and could have at some point overtaken me. And there were many times where I was just drenched in it all and couldn't see any way out. But fortunately, again, I'm surrounded by really good friends, and my wonderful wife, was there the whole time throughout. My family and good friends and God, and like I said, now my life is just so wonderful that not that I can't describe, articulate it. It's just not enough time. I'll talk all night. Right.
It's definitely articulated in your music very well. With
Thank you.
Really positive messages. Really.
Yes.
A substance, something that actually means something, not just like trivial little fluffy things like
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Again, we live in a world of illusions, and whether it's our political leaders or a lot of our spiritual leaders, are just full of CRAP, and have just cast like I said, a veil of illusion over all of us, and so I try very hard to project the image and the substance that I do.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you'll write a song entitled "Occupy Wall Street" or something like that, or "Don't Occupy Wall Street"?
No, I probably won't.
So not exactly going the whole protest route, because I kind of envision like the last songs, like maybe it's just because of there are such a serious backstories and content and subject matters, but it seems almost like I'd liken you to maybe prematurely so, perhaps, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because I like you. You sound like a nice guy.
Well, thank you.
Stop picking up women at my radio station.
No, but like,
hey, we're going to IHOP after this.
Yeah, All right, but I would like you to maybe say a Bob Dylan or Bruce Springsteen, something those kinds of poets that actually have something to say.
Yes. Listen, I love Bruce Springsteen. I love Bob Dylan, indeed. And much like Bob Dylan, again, I'll talk all night long. And you said something about Occupy Wall Street, and obviously there's a lot of college kids down there, and obviously listening. What I don't get about those protests and a lot of these kids that are against capitalism, and they're against big business, and they're against all things like that. In where they're espousing this on one hand, and then on the other hand, is their iPod. And their Starbucks on the ground, and their Gap shirts and their sneakers. There's that gap. That's why, a lot in the media, and the media has gone a little bit over, calling them miscreants and calling them, dirty, and which is a little, over the top in my opinion. But there is a big gap in, well, what do you want? I mean, complete anarchy? I mean, that just doesn't hold any sort of water. Again, if you gave, I would love to ask them, if you gave these kids $1 million, like, all right, look, instead of giving this money to the banks or giving it to, we're going to give you $1 million. What are they going to do with that? Because they're all against capitalism. So it's not like they're going to go start a business, right? Right. Well, and they're not going to invest that money to perpetuate it and to be able to live off of it because they don't believe in Wall Street. And so again, I don't totally get it. What I do get is that those kids down there, regardless, and separate aside of the unions and separate aside of the far left groups, the anarchist groups, the people or the kids that are down there that are looking into the future and saying, I'm confused. I don't feel like I do have a future. Everything that I'm getting from the people, the leaders that are telling me and the TV and all this is that we have no future and that our country is broke, and these wars that are happening. You see what's happening with Iran. We just busted this plot. And now the drum beats of war are going, and everybody's focus is now going to Iran. If you're 17, 18 years old, I would be very, very, very concerned. So I get that. I get that. You see all these bankers who have gotten off that did knowingly sell all these mortgages and all this crap to people that didn't know, and they knew that at the end of this, everything was going to blow up. And on the one hand, they were in the business of subprime mortgages, and on the other hand, they had their hedge funds saying, "Well, if and when this does come apart, I'm going to make out anyway." And those people just get off scot-free. None of their, there's no charges being held against them. Nobody's saying anything about it. That I get that frustration, but again, where it's all gone wrong is this groupthink that's happening. I know everybody thinks that you see in the different cities where one person will say something and then 50, 60 people will then repeat it. I don't know about you, but I actually got scared watching that and hearing that sort of groupthink. Mm-hmm. And this herd mentality where I'm no better than you and he's no better than the next person. I don't believe that.
It's almost like brainwashing in a way.
It is brainwashing. It's not like it is brainwashing. We are all not equal. We are, but we're not. God has given some people more talents. Right. Some people can run faster. Some people can shoot baskets better than other people. Some people can throw a football. Some people can play the guitar and sing and move an entire room of people, and some people can't. So.
Michael, we have going off of all your political views. I know you're very politically oriented, and it shows right there. First off, WMCX is involved in a new thing called Radio Flag, and what that is it's basically a Twitter for college radio stations and also underground radio stations, just up and coming. And we have a lot of fan questions. We promoted the hell out of your appearance here tonight.
Cool, great.
And we have a lot of fan questions here.
Sure.
Particularly Hurt, nice name, asks if your political views have caused any conflict with those in your professional life.
Sure. We were just talking about this on the way here when I was in Gotham Road. I started a website with some friends of mine, Andrew Wilkow and Nick Rizzuto, and it was called conservativepunk.com. And I was asked to come in and write and, and not champion, but just articulate some of my views. And that flew in the face of most people in my industry, and it was a direct challenge to a website called punkvoter.com that their main objective was to sign up, register 500,000 voters between the ages of 18 and 24 and have them vote in a block for the Democratic side of things, the left-leaning side of things, and they were backed with money from MoveOn.org, George Soros money, those types of organizations, and so me and some of my friends and some very, very courageous individuals within the industry directly challenged that, saying that, listen, if we're going to go out there and we're going to talk about politics and we're going to talk about the world, we need to give people both sides of the story, and especially young people, give them both sides of things and show that we can have a conversation about the things that are important in our world and in our country, and not have this sort of infighting and say, well, you can't, be punk, or you can't be whatever if you don't believe in these things. And when I did that, everything went crazy. I was immediately blacklisted from most of the touring circuit in America. There was no magazine that would even talk to me anymore, because they knew that if they talked to me, regardless about anything, that their magazine would then be blacklisted and nobody would buy it. There were no record companies that wanted anything to do with me. I was literally threatened that, I got threats that were then forwarded that were so scary and so real that they were forwarded to the FBI to check out. I was threatened that if I went to Europe and Germany, I would disappear, and there was all sorts of horrible things that happened. And I was, espousing things like country and God and, and the same things that I'm saying here. And there was a huge backlash that I dealt with that pushed me out of the music business and was very, very difficult to overcome.
Jeez.
which just goes to show the hypocrisy of a lot of those left-leaning views that we're all equal and there's all sorts of goodness and love that we should all share except if you don't believe in the things that I'm saying. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, I would say not.
No. Actually, before I get to the next fan question, I just want to say we, as a show, and with you, Michael, and you, Johnny, everybody, we might have gotten the best compliment ever from a listener on Radio Flag. Norton says, "Hey, punk enthusiasts, want to hear some history? This is must-listen radio."
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Now, maybe going a little off topic from what you were saying, but Roustabout says, just like this, "I'm a dog lover." Roustabout is curious about the name and breed of the dog that is the backstory for you recording Saturday Night.
My dog, her name was Hazard, and she was an American Staffordshire Terrier that I rescued from a shelter in Paterson. And at the time, I really wanted a dog, and I was looking around at the different shelters, and I went to this one in Paterson. There was this this chocolate brown. She was part Staffordshire Terrier, and she was part Chesapeake Bay Retriever. So she was this beautiful brown color, and she was scheduled to be killed. She was scheduled to be destroyed. And I asked the warden person that was there what the deal was, if because she was so sweet. I went up to the cage. She was just so sweet. And the backstory on Hazard was that she was in there because she had bit someone for the second time. The first time, there were kids throwing rocks at her and poking her with a stick, and they hopped the fence to try to cut through the backyard or something, and she chased one of them and nipped them in the butt or something. And then the second time was sort of the same story where a mailman or somebody came onto the property, and she was very aggressive with them, and the owner... or the person that she was aggressive with filed a complaint, and Hazard was scheduled to be destroyed. I fell in love with this dog right away. I came back a couple hours later when they were closed, and I got the attention of a janitor who was cleaning up the floors. And Hazard, she was just covered with ticks and fleas. She was a mess. She was gnarly. And long story short, I gave the janitor like $50 to look the other way, and Hazard and I ran out the back door. And she was just and before she was given to the family that then gave her up, she was fought because they believed that she was a full-bred pit bull. And when she lost her last fight, she was thrown out off the back of a pickup, and her tail was all broken. She had terrible hip problems, and so I saved her from the shelter, and she was just with me, She was my dog. She was everything to me. I loved her through and through, and I never really had a dog before. And she was, she was my girl. And when we were going to record Famous Monsters, the night before, I was scheduled to leave to go up to the studio in New York State. She was going to come with me. She was going to live with me the whole time. Because again, it was up in New York State. We went fishing together. We hiked together. I was going to bring her. She was going to be the studio dog. I came home and she died that night. I walked in and she was just sort of laying on the floor. She was very old. She lived a very, very long life. She was 16, 17 years old, and she was just very, very, very old. And she was laying on the floor, and I brought her in my room. I laid her on the bed, and we spent many hours together as she passed away. And the next day, I was a little bit late to the studio, but my mom and I brought her to the vet, and I had her cremated and blah blah blah. But the first song that we recorded on Famous Monsters, the first vocal track that I worked on was "Crying on Saturday Night." And so she was there in my mind, and so when you hear that song, there's that that song is certainly a song of hope, but it's just drenched in this sadness, because the original intent of the song is supposed to be this character who's listening to the radio, and they hear the song called "Crying on Saturday Night," and it reminds this character of whatever it is that he's thinking about, and so that song is drenched in that sadness because I was just, I was drenched in sadness from the loss of Hazard.
Right. Actually, I remember you telling that story last time you were here, and then the day after, I was listening to that song.
Yeah.
And, you could hear it. It's definitely there.
Yeah. That's the song. The story about my dead dog.
That's so sad.
All right. So before we go on, we have to take a real quick commercial break. Actually,
pay some bills.
We have a
No
sponsor
way.
on our show.
That's
if you believe
fantastic.
that.
All right.
Joe's Pizza is a sponsor, so we have a little commercial. And after that, before we come back, last time you were here, before you left, first you gave us a little ID for the station for WMCX, and then you recorded one for our show for the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard the completed product of it yet. We mixed it together. We put some stuff behind it.
It's been
It
playing
came
for a
real
while.
good. Yeah, it's been playing for a long time.
Awesome.
So before we come back, I guess you'll be hearing that for the first time.
Cool. Here's a little break so everybody, order a pizza from Joe's, right?
Yeah.
All
Listen,
right.
WMCX 88.9 in West Long Branch, New Jersey. Gotta do that. How to say it.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe.
Here we go.
The Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon is brought to you in part by Joe's Pizzeria, located in Stevens Drugs Plaza in West Long Branch. Joe's Pizzeria serves Italian pizza, pasta, subs, and panini sandwiches available for pickup, delivery, or catering services. For more information, call 732-222-1027.
This is Michael Graves. You're listening to the Martin-Morelli
I got the,
Metal
limited
Marathon.
now.
Snooki can kiss my ass. I was wandering around the boardwalk the other day and had nothing to do, so I tuned into the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon. It's the greatest show ever. Then I ran into Snooki, I punched her in the face and threw her in the water. I said, this is Michael Graves, and when you get out of the water, go listen to the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon, bitch.
I wanna see you cry, bitch!
That is possibly. I've never heard the whole entire minute version.
That's fantastic. I can't stand that. I can't stand her.
That was insane.
Any of those
Amen.
dudes.
So we made you proud. We did good.
Ah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I forgot about
so
the part
happy.
where he throws her in the water.
She snorts that pig that she is.
She really is piggish.
That whole show, like the
Ugh.
fact that MTV, like what it's become, is such an abomination. It's like a genocide on the mind.
It's
Ugh.
pretty terrible.
I'm going to keep my opinions to myself.
It's,
Only because we'll use that dump button. I don't want it.
Yeah.
they're not essential in promoting music anymore or
No,
playing music
and not
anymore.
least bit. If anything,
And-
they're just ruining generations to come.
This leads me to another fan question. Actually, two people had had a similar question. Tara Cara and Money Honey. I don't know if you guys are
We're
related.
going to IHOP after this. 337 times river. But don't worry about IHOP. Order from Joe's if you're hungry.
Yeah. Now we should
Okay,
get
so
pizza.
they both want to know, Michael, what your opinions are on college radio or underground radio, particularly college radio stations like this, and how essential they are or are not, whatever your views are, in breaking out new music.
It's absolutely essential because, I mean, even satellite radio, they're not able to play the things that the DJs specifically want to play in many instances. Marky's show on Sirius Punk Rock Blitzkrieg is different. He chooses the songs that he wants to play. But yeah, college radio is absolutely essential in the nurturing and the upbringing of music. I mean, that's where that's where the new big things are born. and young DJs, like yourself, in college radio, when you get bands like myself or younger bands that are trying to break through, we bring you our CDs, and then as you progress through your career, maybe you get a job at a bigger station, or maybe you go on to work at some other media music company, and you dig that CD that I gave you, and then you hand it to somebody else, and good things can grow out of that. So college radio is very, very important in the mix of things, because again, the freedom and the liberty that college radio is, mainstream radio certainly isn't. And in New York and New Jersey, what station are you going to tune to? I mean, 104 is now news, and 95.9. If you like Led Zeppelin, 75 times a day.
It's funny because me and Brian interned there, and yeah, it's weird. Just if you listen to the station occasionally, it's all right.
Right, but if you go to work
there,
every day and you put on stations like that, same thing over and over and over and over. College radio is very important.
Yeah, it's nice to come back here afterwards where we could basically do whatever we want. We could play as many varieties of songs we want. We could play any genre of music.
Yes.
It's refreshing.
Yes, yeah. I again, in New York and New Jersey, unfortunately, on the main stations, the main terrestrial stations, there's just not that freedom. There's not that liberty where you hear new bands, you hear fresh material. And then the record companies can't figure out why they're not selling any music.
I am legally obliged not to say anything. So
I actually wanted to ask you more about Radio Deadly.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Brian, your question would be
Radio Deadly,
because I personally frequent Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah,
and I was really not aware of Radio Deadly. So if you could expand on that for anybody else listening.
Radio Deadly is really a platform in which I can. I mean, obviously, as I've shown on this show, that I'm very opinionated politically, and have a lot to say. I have a lot of social commentary, and I'm able to put those things into songs in more of an abstract, artistic way. However, obviously, I can't have some running monologue in a song. So, Radio Deadly is really a way for me to, is my platform to speak long form about, about politics, and the tag for the show is Generation X Attitude, politics, talk, and opinion. And we carry on the underground conversation. The underground media conversation that's happening in this world that young people like you and a little bit older people like me are having and are concerned about, social issues in our country, the political issues in our country, economy, so on and so forth, religion, and I have I just had talk about the West Memphis 3. I had Mara Leverett on the show. I speak to, for example, an author by the name of Jeanette Windle, who was a missionary, spent a lot of time in Afghanistan, and wrote a book about Sharia law and how it affects women and women's rights. Had an author on the show that again spent a lot of time in Iraq. And just interesting people that expand my worldview, and that can start a conversation that we can then tie into music and tie into all these things that we're all going through as well. And it also gives me an opportunity, on the other end of the spectrum. I had bands on like Calabrese. I had Eerie Vaughn on the show, and I had what's his name? TB from Blitzkid.
Mm-hmm.
His last interview before he went on to Vagora, I had him on the show. So yeah, it's it's a platform where I can just run my mouth for 3 hours a night.
That's awesome. So, for anybody out there, just where can we find that for those that don't know?
RadioDeadly.net or blogtalkradio.com/RadioDeadly, and there's archived episodes that you can check out. It's also a really cool way for me to articulate my experience on the road. And I if you go to RadioDeadly.net, you can see that I wrote about when I was in Russia and when I was in Indonesia, and just a really cool way to really have a conversation like this with my fans and with people who want to hear about somebody like me who is so opinionated about the world that we live in, because I've lived such an extraordinary life that's so different than so many other people in the media, especially on talk radio, where I'm coming from. I'm coming from two of the most influential punk bands on the planet, and
I would say
so yeah.
So.
All right. So
are we running low?
We kind of ran a little over already, but that's okay.
We're running a little low time.
Sorry, Joe.
Sorry.
Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. Not the pizza guy. We like that guy.
Right.
But what we were gonna do, if you want, maybe 1 or 2 more songs, and then we could wrap it up after that.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Wonderful. What we got in line next?
Let's see. I'll play.
Can I possibly make a request?
Please.
Because I just know you didn't do this one last time.
Yeah.
And then I been listening to that CD nonstop. Could you possibly do Scream?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm happy. If one person is not happy in this room,
I'm very happy.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Michael Gray is on WMCX on the M4.
Chill runs up your spine, crawls into your brain. Freezing touch of fear is driving me insane. Although you try to fight, you're dragged from the silence where you hide. Till you scream, till you scream. A chill runs up your spine, it crawls up into your brain. Freezing touch of that fear that's driving me insane. And although you try to fight, you're dragged from the silence where you hide. Till you scream, until you scream. I can't wait to hear you. I can't wait to hear you scream. It's driving me insane, and although you try to fight, you're dragged from the silence where you hide. Until you scream, until you scream, yeah. And I can't wait to hear you. I can't wait to hear you scream. If tomorrow never shows, I want you all to know
I love you all, you're beautiful. And I've had myself a ball. Wasted so much precious time. Been skating along these fine lines. Now these weeds have grown where the sun once shone. And my life has passed me by. These weeds have grown where the sun once shone. And I can feel it. And these weeds have grown where the sun once shone. And now I can feel it. I can feel it.
I'm a happy, happy boy.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, thank you. You guys want? Can
Are you taking any more requests or?
Sure. Hey, let me tell you real quick about Scream. Here is a perfect example of me, hiding the true meaning of a song in that horror sort of genre. When I wrote Scream, that song's about a woman's orgasm. Has nothing to do about the movie.
Yeah.
Listen to the song
That's
again.
awesome.
Listen to the words. It'll make total sense.
That's awesome.
the last time you were here, you did a trivia question.
IHOP Tom's River, baby.
I've heard stories of this IHOP actually, so he's not the first one.
I used to work there. We'll go into that next time.
Last time you were here, you did a trivia question.
Yeah.
One music video, you did a stunt double.
Yeah.
Was that Scream?
It was Scream,
It was
yes.
Scream. Which part? I've
Right
scrutinized over this video.
right before-
Which one is it?
Right before Jerry says, welcome to the party, honey, and you see Doyle and Chud
Walk through the
by.
back door? That's
yeah,
not you?
and you see me walk by. It's not me.
You had a stunt double for someone to walk through a door?
Well, no, there was a fight before the video, and Doyle and I weren't gonna go, and it was just crazy, and so I was really late getting there, and they didn't want to wait for me, and so they, there was a kid there that they just put the makeup on, and
He's like the coffee guy. They're like, hey, come over here.
totally, yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's not me.
I think we got time for one more.
One more.
All right. Goldie, you have a question.
Would it potentially From Hell They Came? I mean,
I don't know that one on acoustic.
On acoustic? Oh, too bad. Just because I've been listening to that song all week, so I just thought I'd throw that in as a potential request, but no biggie.
Let me ask you this, Michael. What's your favorite song to play?
Better question, yeah.
That's a horrible question. I don't think you can answer that.
I know. That is a tough question.
That's a tough one. Well, since we were talking about crying on Saturday night, I'll jam that one.
Awesome.
Yeah?
Sure.
All right.
Excellent. Then we'll do sign off. All right.
Like
Thank
how
you.
everyone's saying, yeah, like we're going to say no.
Yeah, sure.
Especially to that song.
Michael Graves on the X88.9.
There's 52 ways to murder anyone. 1 and 2 are the same. They both work as well. I'm coming clean for Amy. Julie doesn't scream as well. The cops won't listen all night. So she said, maybe I'll be over soon as I fill them all in. I can remember when I saw her last. We were running around having a blast. We're having a blast. The backseat, the drive-ins, so lonely without you. I know when you're home, I was thinking about you. There was something I forgot to say. I was just crying on Saturday night. Now without cruising without you, they were playing a song, crying on Saturday night. Comes the nighttime, you go viciously, quietly away. I was sitting in the bedroom where we used to sit and smoke cigarettes. I'm watching you die. Oh, I can't remember when I saw her last. Running around and having a blast. We're having a blast. The backseat of the driving is so lonely without you. I know when you're home, I was thinking about you. There was something I forgot to say. I was just crying on Saturday night. I was out cruising without you. They were playing our song, crying on Saturday night. Yeah. I'm crying on Saturday night. And I was just crying on Saturday night. Ooh, I was just crying on Saturday night. Crying on Saturday night.
Oh man!
Thank you.
Amazing.
I gotta say that sounds like such a classic and timeless song. It brought me back to like maybe listening to a song from like the 50s or 60s. You know what I mean? Like that kind of doo-woppy type sound.
You don't remember me, but I remember you. Tears on my pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah.
That same simple structure. Again, it's same. It's simple. It's a major chord progression, and it's just the words. It's the melody, and it's the feeling, emotion, and sentiment. Just like anything else in this world that makes it something special.
All right, real quick.
No tricks.
We have a book here in college. The Encyclopedia of Punk.
Ah.
And if you turn to page, class, your textbooks, 194, and you go to the Misfits section, they have a whole page and a half.
On me?
It's just you.
It's just
Come
a
on.
giant picture.
Dude, it's just you. Look.
It's true. I see a picture of me.
It's like the Misfits. Bam!
That's amazing. To me, like I said,
You made an encyclopedia.
even just seeing that, I'm the type of person. Like I said, I believe in God. I feel that I'm blessed. In the life that I have lived, if I step outside here, on Monmouth University campus, and God forbid some sort of truck runs over me or whatever, in my dying breaths, I'll be good to go because of things like that. My dreams have come true more so than I could have ever imagined, and I continue to be humbled by people like you and opportunities like this. And I'm forever grateful.
Well, be careful when you leave because these freshman girls don't know how to drive.
IHOP, Route 37.
Chocolate chip pancakes.
Anything you want. I'm a famous musician, baby. I'm not kidding.
Well, on that note, I want to thank all of you for coming in again. Michael Graves, Johnny B. Morbid, hey, Doug Evil. Thank you all for coming in. This is
thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, 88.9 Monmouth University. Thank you.
I want to thank Kevin and Brian for letting me come back here to the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys again for letting me know Mike was going to be here today. And thank you, Mike, for coming.
You're welcome.
Thanks for writing amazing music.
Right on. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we want to thank all of our friends for sticking around and coming in with us and showing support for really two excellent musicians that have returned, John B. Morbid and Michael Graves. We're really happy you guys came back. We were talking last time you guys were here when you were leaving, the possibility of returning, and we're really happy that, well, Trevor, thanks for calling me on Sunday, but about this. But we're really happy that you guys helped to make this a reality for us. Thank you.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Once again, before we get out of here, Marky Ramone's Blitzkrieg tomorrow night. New York City, Gramercy Theater. Doors at 7
Doors are at
p.m.
7.
Doors are at 7.
Ooh, 7.
7.
Yeah, I was saying 8. Doors are at 7.
All right.
Is there an opening?
4 openers.
4 openers.
Yeah.
Local guys, or they go with you with
Judas
the tour?
Priest, Bon Jovi, Scorpions, and Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yep. So Miley will be there
At the IHOP.
with me.
So, JBM, you got any shows coming up?
Yeah, but I feel bad because I have to compete with him. I'm playing the same night in Tom's River though, so you know,
tomorrow?
If you're not in Asbury on October 21st,
Okay.
be in Tom's River for my birthday show party time.
Where's it at?
It's at the Dover First Aid Center. Where is that? 5th Ave, 3rd Ave. Where is that, Mike?
Garfield and
3rd.
Yeah,
it's the corner of Garfield Avenue and 3rd Avenue in Tom's River.
It's right off of Route 37. For real, I mean, you shouldn't feel those shows and those the first aid squads that they'll allow people like us to put on shows is huge in the scene. So again, you don't want to go to Asbury Park. Go to that show, spend a little bit of money, see Johnny and the other bands that are going to be playing, who are all great. Support the scene. You go out, have a great time, and support that scene. You don't have to come and see me. There'll be plenty of people there, run around doing stupid
But then
things.
after his show and after mine, IHOP.
Hey, we saw Johnny B. Morbid over the summer.
Yeah, we did. That's
It was
right.
okay.
We opened up for John B. Morbid. I'm proud to say. I tell people I'm proud to say that I opened up for John B. Morbid with Blacktooth Grin and Trevor.
I'm going to admit this right now. I'm the one that spilled that can of soda in front of the drum set. Sorry.
You son of a...
the problems that caused?
The butterfly effect of that.
I knocked it over the first song we were playing.
Jeez,
and halfway
man.
through our set, JBM just comes and goes, "What happened?" and looks at me. I'm like, "Oh."
The problems that caused. You know that?
Seriously.
You know the earthquake in Japan? I hope you feel good.
All right, I'm good. I'm done.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, guys.
Later.
This has been a very special edition of the Martin-Morelli Metal Marathon. I am Kevin Martin. By my side, always,
Is Brian Morelli, and we will see you guys next Wednesday. Next Wednesday from 8 to 10 p.m., returning to your regularly scheduled programming. Gentlemen, thank you so much again for returning. We appreciate this.
Thank you.
Later.